thought he was fairly well prepared for his daughter's teenage years. But then something happened that Carson hadn't considered. The feelings that came as he watched his daughter prepare to confront the world on her own. Please welcome Toastmaster Carson Shaffer with his speech out of the Manual of Fatherhood, Butterfly Kisses.
There's two things I know for sure. We'll send her from heaven, and she's daddy's little girl. As I drop to my knees by her bed every night, she talks to Jesus, and I close my eyes, and I thank God for all the joy in my life. But most of all, for butterfly kisses after bedtime prayers, sticking little white flowers all over her hair. Off the side of the pony, Daddy. It's my first ride. I know the cape looks funny, Daddy, but I sure tried. After all that I've done wrong, I must have done something right to deserve a hug every morning, butterfly kisses at night. Members of the head table, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. That's the first verse of Bob Carlyle's song, Butterfly Kisses. There's two others, and I'll get to those in a moment. The song landscape, Stevie Nicks said, "Can I handle the changing ocean tides? Can I sail with the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life?" Last week, the season of my life changed. As of last week, I was no longer the only man in my little girl's life. He's a great kid, don't get me wrong. But as you'll understand, I hate them all. They only want, half people in this room understand one thing, and the other half understand that too. They want my daughter, my little girl, my little Cindy Lou, who was no more than 2. I remember the Christmas Eve, tucking her into bed. I can recite the Grinch almost verbatim. And she's 2, and with a little blonde head on the pillow, and she was just old enough to understand who little Cindy Lou was, who was no more than 2, and how the Grinch stole Christmas. I'll never forget that. My little Cindy Lou. Her name's Carson Shaffer, and she's almost 17. But I remember, I think anyone who's a parent remembers when they're little, just starting to walk, you open the door at the end of the day, and you come in and go, "Daddy, Daddy, Daddy!" They run as fast as little legs will carry you and grab you by your leg. That's love. I can't imagine a feeling that could ever be better than that feeling. She's smart. And I've tried to teach her about things. So I tried to teach her about men. Yeah, men. I told her how in the 80s, I was in the Air Force, and you were allowed to wear a flight suit to a bar. So we go to the club wearing a flight suit, and hey, babe, you seen Top Gun? He's an actor. You're looking at the real deal here. I know what boys want. And she began to grow up. I remember when she was 10, she had raised this little big thing. We took it to the Central Florida Fair. And it said, "Sold! Publix, where shopping is always a pleasure." And she cried and cried and cried because we all know what you get at Publix. 7 pigs later, $4,000 later, she wants to be an agricultural biologist. So she's learned. She's learned. Cheerleading, the animals, horse lessons. Her youth is just slipping through my fingers. And I really don't know where all the years have gone. And I came to the second verse. Sweet 16 today. She's looking more like her mama, a little more every day. One part woman, the other part girl. From perfume and makeup, from ribbons and curls. Trying her wings out in a great big world. But I remember butterfly kisses after bedtime prayers. Sticking little white flowers all over her hair. You know how much I love you, Daddy, but if you don't mind, I'm only going to kiss you on the cheek this time. For everything I've done wrong, I must have done something right. Deserve your love in the morning and butterfly kisses at night. All the precious time, like the wind in years go by. Precious butterfly, spread your wings and fly. She's had some hard times. When the economy crashed, Mom and Dad didn't make as much money as we used to. And she couldn't take horse lessons anymore, showing horse shows with her horse Mocha that she raised and trained. She's a senior this year, but she wasn't able to make cheerleading because we weren't able to afford tumbling lessons. It's been hard for her. But she did get to go to the Keys, go dive on the reef. I'm glad she inherited my family's love of the water. Summertime now, no school. And lately, she lives in a carload full of kids, or worse, with a boyfriend alone. And I know this will continue. And it would be wrong if it didn't. Hopefully, it won't be too soon before I get to the third verse. She'll change her name today. She'll make a promise, and I'll give her away. Standing in the bride room, just staring at her. She asks me what I think. I say, I'm not sure. I just feel like I'm losing my baby girl. And she leaned over and gave me butterfly kisses with her mama there, sticking little white flowers all up in her hair. Walking down the aisle, Daddy, it's just about time. Does my wedding dress look pretty, Daddy? Daddy, don't cry. After all that I've done wrong, I must have done something. I deserve her love and her kisses. Butterfly kisses. I couldn't ask God for more. Man, this is what love is. I know I've got to let her go. But I'll always remember every hug in the morning. Butterfly kisses.